off the jump, like from the jump, you have to say spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Bitch, you know what you clicked on. You read the title.
We gotta go. Welcome to My Village podcast on our Lazy Watchers segment. Wah, 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 wah. You didn't do it. I didn't hear you.
I made the sound.
Okay, you were too far from your mic.
Yeah. My bad.
It's okay. That's why I did it for you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, pal.
Always looking out for me.
So, if you're new to this show on Lazy Watchers, well, My Village podcast segment, Lazy Watchers, what we do is we take a show and do the first and last episode, and we review the shit out of it.
We do. With no context. We do not look up any information about like what happened in between whatsoever. And what we do with that is we in turn like to tell you whether we think you should watch it or not.
And if we're going to watch it again.
Which so far, I think there's only been, for me, I think 2 shows. I think for you, maybe only 1 show.
Yeah, like 1 or 2, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But we also want to preface this episode with, because this is like a very special occasion here for the Lazy Watchers at My Village podcast. We are discussing the Grey's Anatomy season 17 premiere, which aired
last week.
November 12th. So
last week.
So this is coming out when episode 2 is coming out. So if you have not seen it yet, spoilers, don't watch us.
If you're watching on Hulu, technically episode 3, because they split it up into 2 episodes for whatever reason.
Fair.
I watch on Hulu a day later, but it comes out on TV on Thursdays. So what we're talking about for this entire podcast, this came out last Thursday. If you're a Grey's Anatomy fan and you have not watched this, like either double episode or both episode 1 and 2 off of Hulu, don't watch this. We will be talking entirely about Grey's Anatomy.
And if you do, don't come at us in the comments about, you spoiled it, because we warned you, heifer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big spoilers, big warnings. If you like, I don't fucking care about Grey's Anatomy and I just want to hear these idiots talk.
Yeah.
All right.
For you. Welcome
to the show.
So we're going to jump right in.
Yeah. As a preface, whatever. A preface. It's a preface. For those that don't know what Grey's Anatomy is, first of all, climb out from under the rock that you're under. Okay.
Those words didn't register when you said that. And that's wild because I just watched the entire series in 2020. So
yeah, but some people still have never watched Grey's Anatomy. It is a doctor drama show by Shonda Rhimes. Heard of Scandal? Heard of Scrubs?
So good.
Scrubs. Well, Scrubs is another doctor show, just more comedy style. Not by Shonda.
I thought you were saying,
but Scandal.
I was like really confused. I was like, she didn't write Scrubs.
But Scandal is Shonda.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Yep.
Station 19.
Yep. Private Practice. You have some options here with Shonda, and she delivers every single time, so get into it. So, now that you know this, we left season 16 really early. They had to stop filming because of COVID.
3 episodes early
because of COVID.
Yeah.
And what's really nice that I like that they're doing is they're doing the flashbacks to the episodes that they had recorded prior to kind of fill in the missing story, because there was a lot of missing story in this first junction, because it picks right back up. So they have to do these flashbacks because we don't know what the fuck's going on. Yes.
So we open this. Okay. Actually, before we get into the plot and stuff,
I mean, we both know our ratings. Anyone that knows us knows our ratings. It's an A+.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to do ratings for this one as well.
Absolutely not. Were you confused about the crossover
Yeah, they promoted crossover like fucking crazy, and we saw the beginning where
we saw Ben and the firefighters in the first 30 seconds, and that was it.
Yeah, so where was the crossover?
So, I don't know. So when I watched it, I DVR'd it last night, and then I started about 30 minutes late so that I could just fast forward through those previews because I don't have time for that.
Yep. I watched on Hulu with not paying for the no ads, so I had to watch the ads. Well, watch. My ad blocker made it a black screen. I still had to hear the ads though.
So Station 19 before, I always set it up to record like 5 minutes before the show and 5 minutes after, just in case like it starts earlier or if it goes a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And Station 19 ended, and one of the firefighters was in the hospital talking to somebody. And so I'm wondering if
they were promoting Station 19 to be on the Grey's Anatomy set.
I know, and that's what was confusing. But I'm wondering if, I don't watch Station 19, so I didn't tune in for that. But I'm wondering if the doctors at Gray's Sloan Memorial were in Station 19 before, and then it it continued, because right before it said right when Gray's started on my DVR, it said the crossover event continues now in 5, 4, 3. It did like a whole countdown.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the crossover part was solely in Station 19.
I believe it was, because we saw literally Ben at the beginning, and we didn't even see Vic.
We saw a little bit of Vic in this episode.
We saw a little bit of Vic.
We saw a lot of bit of Vic.
But for like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So
that, it was weird. But it literally jumps off y'all with and this is the first time I think in my memory that they've ever put a date on Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, usually they will pull real life events and real medical shit that actually happens, because they have a team of actual doctors that help write the scripts and everything. Yeah. But we never really knew the date. We knew it was...
You don't know it's February 2018.
Yeah, it's the general, they're keeping up with our time, but it's not an actual specific thing. Yeah. You jump into this and you're like, it's COVID time, baby.
Because it flashes on the screen. It says April 2020, and you're like, fuck. We really are just jumping in head first into this nonsense.
Yeah.
Wow. I cried. I cried within literally the first, I think, 5 minutes of this episode when Meredith had her little meltdown when she's like, everyone's dying.
Yeah.
And I literally, and then it cut to a commercial and I just started crying because I was like, this is really sad because this is no longer fantasy. It's actually real life.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't cry. I was on FaceTime with Trent. So
stable people don't cry.
I believe I was on the edge.
TV shows.
I was holding it back, but it was real close.
I cried several times in this episode. Shonda just you ain't got the audacity. Shonda, you don't have the right.
Shonda punched us in the gut, is what she did. She came out swinging. Rude.
She really did. Thank you for plugging my Facebook post.
I saw it. I was like, I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it.
I didn't say anything. I literally just said she's coming out swinging this season because fucking crazy.
Andy sent me a GIF that was like, I hate her or something like that. And I all caps replied, said, do not say a word. I will fucking murder you. And I told Trent the same thing.
So one thing I thought was really interesting, and I liked the way that they did it, was they showed all of the characters, and then they kind of had this weird flashback moment with each character where they kind of showed you different events that occurred between the last season and where we are today in April
because
2020.
Of those missing episodes.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump off with you on one of the most bizarre plot twists of this. It's bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Joe Wilson and Jackson Avery.
Yeah, I was confused because
that?
Did I forget if Vic and Jackson broke up?
Okay, so I kind of connected the dots there. So when Vic shows up and she flashes Jackson and his daughter on accident,
Yeah,
because she didn't know that the daughter was there. When she goes when she went through the whole meltdown of I'm not a stepmom, I don't do this, that's just not who I am.
yeah.
I got the clue that they were no longer together in present time.
That's kind of what I assumed, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And what solidified me is when he tried to hook up with Joe. Or when Joe tried to hook up with him.
He didn't even try. Yeah. Joe said, I need sex.
I need a sex favor. That's awkward as fuck. Could you imagine going to your coworker and asking for a sex favor? That's those y'all. Those are the words that she said.
That's literally you can't do that.
No, not at all. That was bizarre to me. But I died laughing when they started kissing and she started bawling her eyes out. And I think she even said later on, she's like, I think I snotted in your mouth. And I was like, that's disgusting.
That's gross. I don't ever want to think about that.
Also, COVID-19, coronavirus. No.
It was
snotted in my mouth? Disgusting.
It was pre-COVID though.
Absolutely. No sympathy in this camp whatsoever for Teddy.
Nope. Owen is in his right mind and gave her many chances to come forward.
Girl, when he was playing those games with her, why would the wedding be off? Why would you want to cancel the wedding? Is there something going on?
Yeah. Do you want to tell me something or?
She straight lied to his face multiple times. He had to play that voicemail for her before they went into the OR.
After they were leaving.
Was it after?
After they were leaving.
Fucking crazy.
Because he wouldn't do it before surgery because he knows that'll automatically make the patient dead. Owen
does. Owen is a good man.
He's smart about it. He's smart about when he picks his fights.
Yeah, I just no sympathy whatsoever. I think I was most confused. Okay, the conversation at the end of the second episode between Teddy and Owen, was that pre-COVID or was that present day?
I don't know because no one was wearing a mask.
No one was wearing a fucking mask. Literally, everybody leaves the hospital and they take the mask off. And I was like, but no.
I think because they're trying to fill in with stuff that they already shot. So I think it was still during COVID.
Maybe.
Because she was saying it happened, at that point, both of them knew that each other knew. You know what I mean? What happened. Yeah. So I think it is during COVID. I think it's just they might have filmed it
before
because nobody was wearing a mask.
I get the idea that whole story arc was supposed to play out by the end of the previous season.
Yes.
But I mean, it made for a really great cliffhanger for the season. I will say that.
For sure.
I liked it because this entire time I've been focusing on man, I really want to know if Owen's gonna just fucking fly off the handle like he did with Christina, or if he's gonna actually keep his cool. Yeah, just no sympathy whatsoever. And I think the only reason I thought the conversation happened in present time was that conversation that Teddy and Joe had in the break room.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that there was no masks and they did keep kind of flipping back and forth from previous to present day. I was just a little confused by that.
It was a little confusing. They did audio cues. They didn't do any visual cues, so it was a little confusing. You had to pay attention to you have to really pay attention to it to know oh, this is a because Trent was watching, he goes, I'm confused. And I go, this is a flashback. And he goes, okay. And I go, now we're back into present day. And now we're into a flashback.
Yeah. The only thing that they did when it was a flashback was they did that rewind sound a little bit. And it would show it would show a clip of what happened, and then they would go into the story of how that happened.
Yeah.
I noticed that. But if you weren't paying attention, or if you were looking away for a second at a text message, you would have missed it.
Yeah, 100%. You had to definitely pay
attention. On FaceTime with somebody, obviously.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna miss it. Amelia and Link. I didn't like their story so far in the first season. Like, I get it. They had a baby. I really hate that the baby's name is Scout Derek Shepard, whatever, Lincoln.
Well, because they're not married, so I assumed that it was going to be a hyphenated last name.
Yeah.
Scout
but then I was
Derek.
I was confused by that because she said earlier too that she liked Scout as a nickname. So did they name the baby Derek Shepard Lincoln and they just call the baby Scout as like a nickname?
Don't know.
There was no explanation, so I don't expect you to know or answer my question. But
and they tried to leave that as a cliffhanger throughout the episode.
So weird. Just tell me what your fucking kid's name is.
They were like, the baby has a name, and then Amelia goes, "Tits," and he goes, "And now I've forgotten it." I'm like, just tell us what the fucking name is.
I know.
Why is this a cliffhanger?
It was such a weird it was a weird moment. And
I think because they're the couple at this time since the episode or whatever, since like the last one, that was actually like the only couple that was happy.
Oh, true.
So they wanted to create a little drama around that, but it was like, what can we create drama around? The baby name?
Yeah.
Like everyone else had actual drama going on.
Yeah. Oh, like real drama.
Yeah.
I hope they stay together. I like them together.
They're
just like cute. Their story so far in this season. I'm like, I'm uninterested, and I think it's because she's like they're both on like maternity paternity leave, so it's like,
and COVID, so
they're just watching the kids. They're watching Zola and Bailey and Scout.
Yeah, because the other surgeons have to meet some sort of criteria to be at the hospital or be whatever for all the people getting sick and dying.
Yeah. So. I literally wrote down. So I keep looking down. I literally wrote down character names and like who I want to talk about.
Yeah. I just remember all that shit. Maggie's next.
I wrote them down because this is one of those shows. There are so many characters that they had so many different story arcs going on in this premiere that I was like, I need to write them all down just so that I remember like specifically what to talk about.
No, that's fair. That's true.
First off, Maggie girl, why are we in the hospital taking our mask off to talk on the phone?
Mm-hmm. I don't take off my phone I don't take off my mask when I'm talking on the phone at work.
Absolutely not. She answered that FaceTime and she was like, "Oh, let me take my mask off." And I was like, "No, you are in the hospital, madam."
Yeah, and the guy that she's talking to is wearing a mask in the FaceTime. So why are you special?
Right.
You are in a hospital.
Right. And she kept touching her face, and I was like, "Girl, you need to stop.
Honestly,
shut it down."
It made me want to put on my mask.
Down.
I was over here like,
Yeah. Put it on. Put it on. Put on the mask.
Please put it on.
Her story arc is meh. I mean,
she's got this boy. She likes this boy. They haven't done the I love yous yet. He accidentally did.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're cute. There's just not much going on.
I like them together. I just already know where this is going. She's going to move to wherever he is to go live with him, and that's how she's going to.
I don't remember his story arc at all.
They went to school together. That's all I really remember.
Okay. I can't remember at all where he was from or whatever.
Yeah, that's understandably so, because he was introduced at the same time that Richard started going batshit crazy in the previous season.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of drama going on at that point when he was introduced. So I don't blame you for not remembering. Like, his character.
They met at the convention
where he gave that speech because of the cobalt poisoning, and it was a lot. Yeah. We sound like idiots for people that don't know
100%
what we're talking about. But yeah, I just know that she is going to move away to go live with him wherever he's at, and that's how she's going to be written off the show. Shonda's done this before. It's nothing new, but like, she's introducing this character. Exactly. So it's like, I'm just not interested, I guess. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it would be, I mean, it would be awesome if she stayed on and he moved to Seattle, but it doesn't seem.
It's adding
like
another
that would be
character
the
to the
case.
roster, and there's so much going on as it is. I think Shonda's best case is to write her off. I do love her. Either write her off,
I like
or
writing.
I like her too. But at this point with the boy, it's either write her off or write him off. You cannot have both on there. There's too many people.
Which, I mean, Shonda for some reason isn't the fan of like an epic love story. She really likes to break hearts. So I mean, this might be just like another broken heart story arc.
Yeah,
true. Very true.
I mean, look at her now. 17 seasons into a fucking doctor show.
Really. But yeah, the whole scene in the tent was just really weird. She closed the door, but the door was sheer, and then she just proceeded to continue to take her clothes off.
You could still see through the
on camera for him.
I was like, that's not private. You need to do the other part. The part that actually blocks the viewing from the children.
Exactly. She's like, oh, I have to close the door. And she reached over and it was like a sheer thing. And I was like, we can still see you.
Yeah. And then the next scene is when Amelia and fucking Link are in the kitchen. And I know that house really well. You could see that tent from the kitchen.
Yeah, you could. She's just doing a strip tease for homeboy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
I don't either.
This is literally, for people that don't know, this is like literally, I think, like the third time we've seen him since he got introduced. So he's a relatively new character. Andrew. So
we left season 16 with Andrew freaking out and essentially having his dad's illness of being a maniac.
Yeah. Really, really hard to keep up with that, because if you remember back to like the first 3 minutes of the show when Bailey is talking to Weber, he says, oh, is Andrew DeLuca around? I'd love to say hi to him. And she specifically says, Andrew is no longer a resident here. Flash forward to like a scene where Meredith is like having a meltdown. He walks into the closet and he says, I'm here to relieve you or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I thought you didn't work here anymore.
Yeah. I was very confused because it's a little all over the place.
Yeah.
And I mean, they seem to like clear it up a bit. I think maybe she was getting rid of him because of the like crazy like burst that he had with the human trafficking.
And he was right.
He was right.
He went about it the wrong way, 100%. I'm not justifying him in that, but he did read the signs and he was correct. That girl was kidnapped.
It's true. 100% with you there on that. But I think people weren't believing it because he had been going crazy for a while. And it was like, how can we trust this?
Do you remember what illness it is that he has?
I thought it was just called like mania or something like that.
That's what they keep saying, but Kyle and I were trying to figure that out because they said that his dad had it, and I was almost wondering if it was like borderline schizophrenia, but
it's just called manic disorder.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. Manic depression disorder.
I was like, are they alluding that he's a schizophrenic? But I'm like, but he's not.
No,
like they're doing a bad job if that's the case, because he's not.
This is saying that a manic episode is categorized by a sustained period of abnormally elevated or irritable mood, intense energy, racing thoughts, and other extreme and exaggerated behaviors.
That's him to a T.
To a T. So it's manic disorder for sure.
Interesting. Yeah, his whole story just really confuses me because they did the intervention for him, and then
when he was slamming on the door,
I cried during that
hurt.
scene.
That really hurt.
Because when he turned around and said, he's like, I would give up ever knowing you. And he was talking to Meredith just to get rid of this. And I was like, wow.
And then he starts slamming on the door, and you knew he didn't actually want to say that. It's just what his brain was telling him to say. Mm-hmm. And then he slammed the door 5 or 6 times. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, and it was loud in my ears. I forgot to turn it down. And I was like, I was even over here like reacting the same way that they were on screen. Truly. I was like, oh, buddy, no. I want to help you.
So, yeah, I'm assuming he works at the hospital now. I just don't know why Miranda said that he didn't.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm confused. Unless I have a theory about Meredith, and we'll get into Meredith after this next. I paired these two characters together. Catherine and Richard. I am thrilled that they are back together.
Oh my God. Finally. When it ended, and Richard goes, I guess we need more COVID tests. And she goes, why are you sick? And he's like, no, I just want to be sure I'm safe for all the things I'm going to do to you. I was like, okay, Richard. Oh, you're lagging.
Truly, I was shooketh. You were lagging too. Sorry, everybody. COVID-19.
We're back to remote. So bear with us.
Yeah, I was like, Richard wants to get a little freaky with Catherine tonight. That's all that means.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because
he won't get his test back for 3 to 5 business days. So
truly. The thing that's so crazy is that and what pissed me off about their storyline is that all Richard wanted to hear from her was, I'm sorry for what I did to you. Mm-hmm. That is all Richard wanted from the jump. And she refused, like a child, she refused to say, I'm sorry to him.
Yep.
And I was like, this is so frustrating. And so when Maggie finally burst in and yelled at Catherine about you're being ridiculous. This is stupid. People are dying. Tell your husband you're sorry and build your relationship back up with him. I don't know what you're doing. And I was like, Maggie gets it.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
Oh, that made me so happy. And then fucking Schmidt and Bailey are there.
I'm over the gays. Bring back Arizona and Cali. I'm over the gays. Bring back the lesbians.
Yeah. I only felt a little sympathy because Trent just made me watch the Things About Harry movie or whatever it's called. Anyways, one of the 2 main characters is Schmidt in that movie.
I know what you're talking about. I saw it on, I think, Netflix the other day.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie, and that's why I was like, I miss him in his regular Schmitty Schmidt.
Over their relationship. The Asian guy's a fucking asshole. I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
The orthopedic surgeon is an asshole.
I don't remember.
And Schmidt also pisses me off because he's annoying and doesn't say what he wants to say. And then when he does say things, it comes out of pure emotion, which it's ooh, girl, you got to learn how to filter that because that's what you're saying right now is making me uncomfortable. And I'm not even on the receiving end of it. And
yeah, no, there's so definitely issues between both of them, but
I just miss Cali and Arizona.
Yeah, Cali and Arizona need to come back, please.
They're both alive.
Shonda,
living in New York.
If you're listening to our podcast or watching it on YouTube,
Shonda,
no. Hey,
Shonda,
if we blow it from this podcast and Shonda listens to it, bring back Arizona.
We don't have enough money to pay Shonda to listen to a clip of our podcast.
No, we'll figure it out. Everyone that's watching now, at Shonda Rhimes.
You don't have to do all that.
Do all that. Hashtag true MVP fans.
Meredith fucking Grey.
From Grey's Anatomy? Meredith Grey? Bitch,
so
what you doing on the ground, Grey?
Girl, we'll get to that. But like at the beginning, when she like was literally having her full on meltdown, that like 4 patients have died today. This guy right here was doing just fine an hour ago, but then like now he's dead. So like I don't know what's going on. Like having to constantly go through that like cycle of like trying to save a patient's life and then like they're just dying on you left and right.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. And that's why I think I started crying, because I'm like, this is real life. Like not only are people dying, but then like there are people who are trying to take care of them and trying to save their lives. And there's like anything that they do is just like, it doesn't matter because we don't know how this virus works. And it's like just the reality, I think, of it. Like when you actually see it like dramatized in front of you, I think like the reality of it really just sank in. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I think I finally like felt that emotion for the first time in this pandemic, because it wasn't just like a story I was reading in a newspaper. It was like being dramatically acted for me. It was like a dramatic reenactment of a newspaper. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think the different thing is we are regular citizens with regular jobs. You know what I mean? And this is really showing it from the doctor side of it. Yes, very dramatic side because
Very
Shonda,
dramatic.
but it still gives us
dramatic.
that insight of like, okay, what they're saying is true though. Like Schmidt, when he was at the COVID like tent or whatever, was like, I have passed 100 people that I've had to say that their partner,
Loved
husband, loved one is gone.
Yeah.
He's like, and I don't know if I can keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
I can't even
it's
imagine.
eating me alive. And I'm like,
can't imagine.
I can't do it once.
No. That's why I wouldn't be a good doctor.
I'd be a horrible doctor.
So then she has her meltdown and she starts throwing things. And then that's when Andrew entered. And I was like, interesting. You don't work here anymore. So then I think I'm one of the few people that actually wants Meredith to be with Dr. Hayes. I don't like DeLuca. I think DeLuca is very handsome, but beyond that, I don't really see much in him.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no
personally,
redeeming qualities.
I would say Dr. Hayes as well. Like DeLuca's fine. He's a fine person.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms
agree.
of just like, I mean, Meredith, you're up there. Why are you going for this young child? Go with
the adult.
Go with the adult that has kids and is way more mature. Yeah?
Very much
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Very much
glad
so.
we agreed. Thanks.
But yeah, I just I want her to be with Hayes. So she was supposed to go meet Hayes. I wanted her to go get a drink with Hayes. Hayes texted her and he was like, "Hey, I have a bottle of whiskey in my office if you want to stop by for a drink before you go home." So DeLuca comes and relieves Meredith, confusingly, because like I said, he doesn't work there anymore. Bailey told us that in the first 3 minutes.
It was on and off throughout the 2 episodes. So it was hard to keep up with if he actually worked there or not.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden it shows Hayes walking to his car. And he sees somebody laying in the parking lot. And I think us true Shonda Rhimes fans knew it was Meredith Grey without even like, they showed the arm on the pavement. I was like, it's Meredith. Meredith is dead.
Oh, it's absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, in my head, I was like, Meredith is dead. But I was like, but it's her show. So, I mean, she can't be dead.
And also, it's the first episode back in season 17. We know she got signed on for another season.
Could you imagine if Shonda Rhimes had the audacity to kill Meredith fucking Grey in the first episode of season 17?
Bro, if that had happened, you know Ellen Pompeo would have been yelling about it way before this. She knows how much money she makes on that damn show. Dying in the first episode of season 17, you would have heard it.
Really? So then the screen goes to black for a second, and then you see Meredith sitting on a beach. And from the distance, you hear,
Meredith.
And I heard a distant, echoey voice. And I said, I know who that is. And I said, the fuck you are, Meredith Grey. The fuck you are. I will burn everything to the ground. You are not dead. And hallucinating who? Derek Shepherd on the beach.
Not like previous clips that they got approved to use. Like Patrick Dempsey today, Derek Shepherd.
Present day Derek Shepherd in the opening episode
to come back to 17. Grace. He left. He's gone.
He died.
Or he died.
Death.
But
a very stupid death. But he died.
A very stupid death. But outside of the actual show, he left. What's he doing back? Was he jealous of how much Ellen's making?
Right. And he is one of the actors that like left the show, and like everybody loved Derek. So it was like when he left the show, it was a very emotional time. I cried a lot during that episode.
And Shonda did not do him justice with his death.
No, not at all. Don't get me started on it, but that's a whole other episode. What's his name? Patrick Dempsey. I kept wanting to call him Derek. Patrick Dempsey has like adamantly said that he would never return to the show, or he like that.
Like he wishes them good well, but he doesn't plan to return to the show ever.
He's like, I'm done. I'm over it. Like that's a whole other chapter of my life. Like, why would I go back to that? Here you are in season 17, bitch.
Yep. What season did he die?
I don't even know. Like 12?
Look at the top fucking search. Season 11.
I was close.
You were close. He died from a fatal car crash while driving to the airport for his final trip to Washington.
Yeah. So it shows Meredith saying, Derek, I missed you.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, I know. And then it just ends.
Yep.
I'm so mad. I am pissed.
And I have to wait a week to see what happens. People. Yeah.
Because I, for the majority of the year, watched 16 seasons just back to back of every episode. Watched it. And now I'm caught up. I'm in the current storyline, and I'm infuriated.
Yep. Welcome to me last year, because this is how it was.
So
and I was pissed that I was caught up because I knew that I had to wait for the next episode.
So dumb. But
yeah.
So good. I mean, it was a really good season opener. I'll give her that. It was a 2 hour event. So for me, it was 2 hours straight. So for you were saying
on Hulu, it is split up
2 episodes.
Yeah, Hulu is split up into 2 episodes of 42 minutes.
Fair. It's fair.
Yeah. So if you want to watch it all and you have it DVR'd, it's going to be 2 hours. If you want to watch it online, Hulu has it. Hulu always has it a day after. This is totally an ad for Hulu, even though we are not being paid by them. But I watch it on Hulu.
Or you can buy it on iTunes, and they don't have commercials on there too.
True.
And it's split up into 2 episodes. I bought it.
Oh.
Even though I have cable, I just don't like commercials. I hate commercials. It breaks up the story for me, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it really does. So
yeah. So if you liked this episode, go ahead and give us a thumbs up on this video, because maybe we do like a quick 10 to 15 minute reaction video live for the YouTube channel after we watch every episode.
We definitely could.
I think we should, because we clearly are huge fans of the show, and Shonda's going to bring the drama, and we'll relay that drama to you, and we'll share that drama with you, because we're all so pulled into the show.
Yes.
So yeah, if you want to, what's the button they push?
Subscribe.
Yeah. Hit that bell for us too with the notifications.
Yep. Turn on all notifications. That way every week when we upload, you get notified immediately. You can also do that on any of our podcast platforms if you're listening to the audio. Spotify,
Sure can.
iTunes, iHeartRadio, whatever you listen to podcasts, we should be on there. If we're not, let us know. But you can listen to it there. Go to our YouTube, or myvillagepodcast.com has our podcast and Sippin' Tea as well. So you're able to listen to the audio over there too.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram if you are so inclined at MVP Andy.
And you can follow me at Sticky Toaster. And follow the podcast account at My Village Pod. Or is it My Village Podcast?
Twitter, it's My Village Pod because podcast was too long. And then
too long.
But on Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at My Village Podcast.
And we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.